It's what time is it over there?
Noon.
Noon. What time do you wake up?
It just depends. I got up kind of early today. I was up before 8.
Oh, okay. So you
But
got.
normally-
So you get up at. If you get up at 8, why you eat so late?
Oh, I got up. I drank a cup of coffee. Took my morning supplements. Went to the tanning bed. Took my time to do all that. Got back. Knocked out my cardio. And here we are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well. So this
Yeah,
shit.
just going to extend the time a little bit. So I just have a little bit more of a fasted segment. I got up in the middle of the night at like 3 and had a bowl of oatmeal and a protein shake. So
Oh, so you.
I want to
Okay.
make sure I had plenty of time between that.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, Dorian, let's talk about Dorian Haywood. Who is Dorian Haywood? I want the people to understand and to know because, like I said, I explained it to you earlier. I saw you on stage last year competing a few times, and realized you, but I didn't really know who is Dorian Haywood. That's why I want to give you this opportunity so for the fans to see and find out who Dorian Haywood really is. So, Dorian, tell me, where you from originally?
Well, I'm kind of from all over. I always claim Indiana as my home. I spent like 12 years in Indiana. I was born in Texas, moved to Kentucky, then Tennessee, then back to Kentucky, down to Florida. Then I spent 12 years in Indiana, 7 years in Madison, Indiana, then 5 years in Muncie, Indiana, where I got a degree in exercise science. And from there, I moved down to Daytona Beach, Florida, and I got my doctorate of chiropractic down there in Port Orange, Florida. Then I got a job out here in Denver, Colorado, and I've been out here for going on 12 years now.
Okay. How old are you?
39.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I was like, damn, so you've been around so much, So you got your doctor in, you're a chiropractor. Are you practicing in Denver now?
So I don't practice like I used to. I used to do it full time, and I got a lot of joy out of it. But recently, I've opened up a new online training business, Dr. Fit, and I've been focusing on that. I've been focusing on training my Team Chiro Mega, out of Ombres Gym and online training. And I do a few different things to get me by professionally, because professional bodybuilding is not quite doing it for me yet. But yeah, that's in a nutshell what I do. That chiropractic experience just kind of separates my trainer expertise.
Isn't there more money in being a chiropractor financially? Wouldn't that be better?
It could be, but at the same time, there's a lot of risk. And for me, especially when I'm prepping, I like to be in a situation where I'm surrounded by positivity and progressive people and people who are working with me with a real good mindset. And it seems like sometimes with chiropractic, people will come in and they're just like, oh, doc, help me, after not following my recommendations. They just come in when they're all banged up and they need it. And I just kind of lost my love for it. And like I said, especially when I'm prepping, it's like my patience to deal with somebody on that level becomes very limited. But when we're talking about training a group of 3 guys or girls at the same time, we're all there for the same reason, to progress and get better. That's like the ideal situation for me. And mentally and physically, I just thrive there. So that's what I choose to do with my time and how I go about my profession. Now, from a business standpoint, if I'm training 3 people at a time, charging between $60 to $100 per training session, that can come out to about as much, if not more, than what I make in the same time if I was doing chiropractic. So logistically, it works out.
I'm just, because I don't, what I'm thinking is that I don't think it's really easy to get a doctor into being a chiropractor. I mean, that's a lot of school and stuff involved, I guess, and I believe that I thought that there was a lot of money in it. That's why there's so many
I think there was much more money in it in like the 80s and 90s.
Oh, okay. So you think it's less now than it used to be?
I think it's harder to bill through insurance, but the way that I designed my practice, I never dealt with insurance. I just did cash only. So it was straight up $60 for a new patient examination, $40 for an adjustment. So I could usually fit in 4 to 5 adjustments per hour. So that's $160 to $200 an hour if I have patients stacked up.
So do you think
I played the insurance game and kind of exploited insurance the way most chiropractors do, I think I could make more money, but I'd have to have more staff to do the medical billing and everything else. And that's just staff's a hassle and staff's expensive. So I like what I'm doing. I don't see any reason to break the mold here.
Do you think there's just too many now? And that's why there's maybe less patients?
Too many chiropractors? You think the market's flooded? No, I think it's the exact opposite. I don't think there's enough. And I don't think society as a whole puts enough value in chiropractic to use it.
So do you believe as a full bodybuilder that they should take advantage of a chiropractor on a regular basis?
Yeah. I know I'm kind of a hypocrite because I am a chiropractor and I need to see my chiropractor. General recommendation for somebody who's a wellness patient of mine, as long as they're asymptomatic, I want to see them once a month just to be preventative and, make sure everything's fine, because generally wellness patient, I don't want them to have any type of pain or anything. So once a month is my recommendation. And I wish I could say I was following that same recommendation, but I've been a little busy lately, but I'm going to get it in here in the next week or so.
So so when you go to a chiropractor, do you go to someone who but you've been to people that, for the first time. So did you get to the point where you're like, hey, listen, man, what you're doing is not working. You got to do it this way. You tell them what to do, or?
No, that's kind of rude. I can't say I've never done that before, because I've gone to I remember one female chiropractor in particular. She was kind of small and she doesn't know how to do side posture manipulation. So she was trying to do drop table stuff on me and it just wasn't working. So I kind of coached her in the right direction on how to adjust somebody like me. But at the same time, if you know how to get adjusted and you know how to relax, it's not hard to adjust. So I think the biggest problem that I run into is people assume that I'm a big guy, and because I'm a big guy, they need a whale on me. So if it's anything, it's normally telling some of these guys I go see, these other male doctors of chiropractic, just take it easy on me. I can relax and things will adjust right into place. No problem. It's kind of funny. The guy I generally see as a chiropractor, Dr. Jacob Fletcher, he specializes in pediatrics. So he's generally dealing with pregnant women and little babies than my big ass.
Yeah, that's funny.
But he does a great job, so I continue to see him.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk about the sport that we all love so much, bodybuilding. Enough of chiropractors. I'm one thing before I forget. I'm so stupid for not asking you to try to adjust me, because I haven't done it in 10 years, and I'll probably needed one. And I got a table at the house and everything. I just forgot to ask you.
Next time I see you, Dennis.
I will hit you up next time. So let's talk about bodybuilding, brother. You are a IFBB pro. You turned pro back in, because I remember you told me who won the nationals when you got second place.
I didn't get second place.
No,
got second place.
Joe got second when you. Oh, see, I just twisted you guys around, because I talked to Joe and he told me that you beat him and he got second. Okay, so I just messed it up. My bad.
Hey, if it was a deadlift contest, hands down, he is the winner.
I got because I had him on last week and he told me that. I said, he turned pro at the nationals. And then he says, he got second place because Dorian Haywood won. And I told him, I said, oh, funny, because he's coming this weekend to train here, And now I just turned it all around and thought it was the other way around. My bad. Anyway, 2016
super heavyweight national champion.
Awesome. And when was your first time? When did you compete as a pro for the first time?
The very following year, I went in and did the 2017 Tampa Pro, and I think I pulled 8th or 9th place. Yeah, it was a pretty good showing for me. I wanted to place higher, but I'm a rookie and, just coming into the league, I think it was a fairly fair placement.
Did you compete every year since then?
Every single year. Yeah.
How did you manage to fly under the radar like this? Like what? Well, I had no idea who Dorian Haywood is until last year, while I was broadcasting for the pay-per-view and realized I saw you on stage, and I was like, who's that guy? I'm telling myself, who's that guy? How come I thought it was literally your first shows, Well,
I think there's several reasons, Dennis. First of all, I'm 39. I think a lot of these guys that are coming up, these young stars are, they come in younger. They come into the league younger. For me, I was working on getting my bachelor's in exercise science, working on getting my doctorate, and I had a kid, and I was married. So I had a lot going on early in my life. Even though I was bodybuilding, I just didn't have the time and the financial capacity to do it on the level that I'm doing it now. And I think that was the biggest thing. I think, I don't know if I just overlooked, because, I'm not in the proper age demographic as some of these young stars.
I don't think this has anything to do with age.
No?
No, I don't think age is age. Like I always say, age ain't number the number. But at the end of the day, it's you out there, and you might be 39, but your body doesn't say 39. So nobody asks you how old you are when you step on stage somewhere. It's like, oh, how old is this guy? Nah, who cares? It's we look at you and we judge by what we see when you step on stage. And I was really impressed with you the years. I mean, the shows that I broadcasted, because of the size that you brought to the stage, And I remember looking at you, and I remember saying that, if he would bring out a little bit more detail in his quads, this is a guy. Or if we would know this guy a little bit more, we would know he's coming, I think he might get a better look.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
So you did a lot of shows last year. I remember you did how many shows?
5.
5 shows. So you made a name for yourself by competing, which is a smart move. You just get on stage and let people, see, listen, I'm here. So what changed from last year to this year? Because I talked to you, of course, last year, 2 weeks ago when you were here, and it seemed to be in somewhat a different motivational mode. I mean, you look like you mean business this time. What changed from last year to this year?
Well, I think the first year that I got into the league, I think I was competitive, but at the same time, I felt like if I was competing against somebody who's already been in the league 10 years, kind of their seniority and, their background, they just seemed to place higher than me. So last year, finally, I started breaking through into the top 5. And that was really motivating. But, I'm 39 years old. And
Stop talking about the age. Stop talking about the age.
But the point is, every year I seem to get better. I seem to progress every year. And a little bit exercise, being able to bring in a little bit better separation and conditioning every single year. I just learn more about my body, learn more about the sport, learn how to peak better. So I think a couple top 5 finishes last year kind of established me, and it was a breakthrough season for me. And that was pretty motivating. So now I'm just in this place where I think I can win shows. I think I could have won shows last year as well, but now I think I'm in a place where it will actually happen.
Okay, so what's the next show you're doing?
I've got the Indy Pro coming up here in 3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks, Indy Pro. You did the Indy Pro last year, right?
I've done every Indy Pro. There's been 3 of them.
Okay, so where did you place at the Indy Pro last year?
4th.
I'm trying to see, who was ahead of you?
Blessing, Mohammed, then Justin Rodriguez won.
Mohammed Shaban.
No, Mohammed. He's from Russia.
Oh, but he's an Arab, but he represents Russia, right?
Yeah, I think he's
He's another big dude. I remember.
Yeah, he came in very conditioned last year, and that was a cool show for me because at Indy Pro I got 4th. I placed behind Mohammed and the Blessing, but the very next weekend I came into the New York Pro, and I took both those guys out. So that was very, very gratifying.
Oh, okay. So when you look at yourself from last year, and now you look at yourself today, what do you think happened? What changed? What did you improve on?
Well, I really took the judges' feedback into consideration, especially Steve Weinberg. He generally gives me the fairest placements, and he always gives me really accurate feedback. Some of the things he told me last year is just a focus on your posing endurance, your gut control, and just make sure your body composition is where it needs to be. I think years past, I kind of focused on size and being able to come in big and round. And as a result, my gut wasn't as void as it could be. So my aesthetics weren't optimal. Mm-hmm. So that's where my focus is this year. Make sure my conditioning is just spot on. Based off of the feedback last year, every single show I did, they say, I got all the size. You've got all the size you need. You've got the size. You got the size. I kept hearing that. So based on what they tell me, I need to come in absolutely rip conditioned and being able to hold my posing with my gut in. So that's what I'm going to do.
Awesome. So 3.5 weeks out compared to last year, how much better are you?
Well, I've got a very important meeting this Friday with Steve Weinberger. I'm going to go to his gym and set up camp there this weekend with my coach, Dave Kalick.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take a look at me. And I got a feeling that if I look like an Olympian in that show, it's going to play well for how I'm going to play through the season. I obviously need to show up on show day, but at the same time, you know, I've had several short-term goals along the way in this prep. You know, my coach came in town. I came to see you. I'm going to see Steve. And for all these little short-term goals, I always wanted to be way ahead of schedule. So I think that's what's making this prep. I don't know. I'm staying focused. I can say that.
Okay.
And I'm staying ahead of schedule.
All right. Let me ask you the question again. 3.5 weeks out compared to last year. How much better? How much better are you?
Yeah, I think last year I played it up right until that last week, and everything just kind of fell together in the last week. I feel like by the time I go see Steve on Friday, I'm going to be ready. Then I got 3 more weeks just to tee things in.
Yeah. Are you going to stay in New York the whole time, or are you just going to be there for the weekend?
I'll be there Thursday through Sunday morning.
Oh, okay. So you just do a long weekend there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a smart move. You know, go over there, get some tips and get some feedback from a person that's going to judge you.
Yeah.
You know,
and I really respect him, and I believe he'll give me whatever advice I need to push me in the right direction.
Yeah, and he's going to tell you.
Show.
He's going to tell you real honest. You know what's happening, and that's a good thing because you still have 3 weeks. If there is something that you have to change, you can still make changes. That's awesome. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Now you live in Denver now, right?
I do.
Tell me, what is it like training at Ombres Gym? Especially with a gym where there's a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of competitors. Phil Heath trained there all his whole career. You still got what's his name right now? Brett Wilkin is there. What is it like training around these guys?
Well, I've been training out of there 11 years, and it seems like the atmosphere and the vibe has changed. You know, there's been different eras and different people coming through the gym. Mm-hmm. You know, when I first started going there, Phil Heath was like, he wasn't Mr. Olympia yet, but he was hungry and he was phenomenal. So he was super motivating, and he was really the only pro bodybuilder in there up until, you know, Russ Allen went pro, then I went pro. But, you know, I've been training out of that gym 11 years. If I didn't think it was absolutely awesome, I'd be someplace else. Mm-hmm. It's like the only place I can train, and it feels like home, and I feel like I can do what I need to do with exceptional intensity and everything like that. But the vibe in there is great. It's super motivating. I hate going to gyms where people like don't know what they're doing, because I'm a chiropractor and I look at injury prevention stuff. These are things I see, and they're things I focus on. Mm-hmm. So if I'm trying to train and I'm seeing people doing all kinds of stupid bullshit with their technique, it drives me nuts. It's like I got to wear a hat over my face.
So you don't walk up to them and ask them, and see if you can give them an advice?
Ooh, that's a touchy subject.
I know.
Especially coming from a large, intimidating guy. So every now and then, if there's somebody who I've seen in like Ombres who's kind of messing something up or not getting it quite right, and I see it a couple times, and I have a relationship, you know, I got to approach it with, you know, gloves on to make sure that I don't offend anybody. But yeah, sometimes I'll give advice, but that's the beauty about Ombres. A lot of people who go there are very motivated. They know what they're doing. They're in that place because they understand what that place is about. People are there for a very specific reason, to get better, and they generally have their shit together and they know what they're doing. So I don't have to deal with that so much when I'm in Ombres. People know what they're doing, and they're motivated, and they don't talk much. They're in there to work, and they're in there to get better. That sets the vibe for the place. That's just motivating in general for anybody who goes in there.
Yeah, I've been there. I remember the equipment was great. Great equipment.
Hand selected by the owner, Dylan Ombres.
Yeah. So, let me get back to the shows real quick. Are you planning on doing any other shows other than the Indy Pro?
Yes, sir. I've got a whole lineup lined up.
Tell me.
Well, I'm going to start off with Indy Pro. Very next weekend's the New York Pro. Now, I feel if I would take a win at either of those shows, I'll probably sit out till the Olympia. But if for some reason I don't pull a win out of Indy or New York, I'm going to continue on to the Cal Pro the very following weekend after New York. And if I'm doing the Cal Pro, I might as well do the Toronto Pro too. So 4 weeks in a row, 4 shows in a row.
So there's four shows back to back.
Yes, sir.
Damn. And then there's isn't that Puerto Rico also?
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know if they have open
exactly the date
bodybuilding
on Puerto Rico, but I want to say there's a little time between the Toronto and the Puerto Rico. I want to say Puerto Rico is like first weekend in July or something.
Yeah.
So there's like 4 weeks in between. Me personally, I just like to get in shape, stay in shape, and knock them all out, opposed to having to like
How
start over.
do you stay in shape in between shows? What do you do that some others do wrong, where they come in different losing their condition? Is it that because they eat too much after the show and they can't catch up no more?
That's a loaded question, D. Yes. Yes, among several other potential factors.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do?
Me, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What do you do?
One thing that I think works for me is the way that I've been structuring my diet. And I've done this in the past, and we've come back to doing this again. It's like on the second half of Monday, I start pushing myself down into depletion and bring my carbs really low, usually under 150 grams.
Okay.
Some days I'll do under 50 grams, just based off of how I feel and if I can sleep. But all day long, I won't do any carbs, and I'll do like some blueberries and raspberries and some pomegranate juice right before bed. I think that creates an insulin response. It also has some good vitamins and minerals in there, and that insulin response is going to help drive some of this protein and fats I've been eating all day, and make me comfortable for bed so I can sleep. So I think my sleep and my recovery has been better because I'm doing that. So I go low carb all the way through Saturday afternoon. I usually throw in 300 grams carbs on Saturday night to fuel me up for Sunday's leg day. I'll have at least 600 grams of carbs on Sunday, then another 300 grams of carbs Monday morning.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
So it's like a cyclic thing.
300 grams of carbs in one meal?
Spread usually about 100 over 3 meals.
Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm. But then I go back into that depletion phase again. So the beauty of this, it's like I'm loading up for a contest every week. So my body kind of understands that pattern. So when we go to load up for a contest, starting Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to be loaded full of food. About halfway through Wednesday, we're going to cut the calories down, then start voiding the gut and getting that conditioning again. And by Saturday, I've got that look. I think you kind of saw it last week or 2 weeks ago when I saw you. It's like I came into town. That first day, I kind of washed over and I couldn't hold my gut in when I was posing. But as soon as I dropped them calories back down and dropped the carbs back down, it's like everything tightened up and my gut was tight. My posing was better. But since it's like a weekly cyclic type of thing, I think I can just go show to show to show like that because I'm not really changing my pattern and not really changing my food that much.
Yeah. I'm asking the question for the people to listen because a lot of guys ask the same questions, what do you do in between shows? So you just explained that you go heavy on carbs Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where others would go deplete. You load.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you basically do it the other way around.
Well, everybody's different, and I've just found out where my body looks best.
Yeah. You can only say for what you do, and this is what works for you. So this is for the people to understand. Not everybody. You can't, because I get people asking me, "Oh, can you give me a peak week protocol like three months before their show?" I said, first of all, I can't tell you what to do in peak week before I even see what you look like at that moment. But like you just said, you load Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then you back off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so you have that gut under control, which I think is a very smart thing to do. And that's why I'm asking the question, because, everybody else is everybody's doing it a little bit different, and everybody thinks, you gotta, Sunday before the show, you gotta deplete Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you carb load Thursday, Friday. This is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And I've tried that approach before too. And I've tried that approach. And the problem with that for me is I seem to lose a little bit of that detail in my conditioning. And the more food I have in my guts, the bigger my gut is. As simple as that. I take 2 days to deload my gut and let everything kind of metabolize and be stored in the muscle, then clear my gut out. It's just my best look.
Yeah.
What works for me.
How do you stay somewhat dry and not rebound with water in between shows? Let's say if you after the Indy Pro, what do you do to prevent, rebounding too much?
Well, I think people get in a lot of trouble when they start trying to pull this last minute voodoo type of stuff. You look at some of these great competitors like Dennis James, like Ronnie Coleman, like Jay Cutler. If you watch their protocols, they're just kind of doing the same thing. They don't have any drastic loads. So in terms of, as we're leading into the show, say like Friday, I don't ever cut sodium all the way out. I might decrease it a small percentage.
Yep.
I never cut my water all the way out. I'm going to drop my water a little bit so I can come in dry. But I think that's the key, just staying consistent and kind of creating a sense of homeostasis. So there's no drastic changes. If you don't have drastic changes, you're not going to have these drastic rebounds. Mm-hmm. I think these guys that drop all their sodium out, cut their water way out, take their diuretics, then after the show, go nuts with food, that's where they get in trouble. Yeah.
You're right. That's exactly the reason why they get in trouble. You only rebound for something, if you don't, I think it has a lot to do with diuretics, because I believe, and I'm still a firm believer that if you can get in shape, try to get on stage without using diuretics. Then you don't have.
Right there with you, D.
Then you don't have the issues, with fading on stage and all that kind of stuff, And I know sometimes you have to use just a little bit, but I know so many people that go overboard when it comes to diuretics, and then they wonder why they end up flat, because they stop the sodium, they stop the water, and they still use diuretics. And I think that's when you set yourself up for failure like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right back again to what I was saying, that last minute voodoo.
Yeah.
If you look good, why change anything?
Right. So let's talk about your the competitors. So who's doing the show in Indy Pro? Who else? I mean, Blessing is in again. What do you think about Blessing when you see him now? You see his improvement. You see the size.
Well, I only like to say positive things about people.
Yeah. I'm only asking what your opinion is.
I think Blessing's got a wonderful physique, and we've had a chance to talk a little bit last year after the shows and everything. He seems like a good guy. I think he's funny, very entertaining.
You going to beat him?
I kind of called him out last year after the Indy because, he's got some big sponsors. He had a huge following, and I think I beat him coming out of prejudging, and somehow he ended up ahead of me in the Indy Pro by one place. And I called him out after the show. I'm like, look, congratulations on a great finish. I think you did great. This is a great pro debut, but I don't think you should have beat me. And he seemed pretty offended. He started getting loud and said, "What?"
Oh, really?
I'm like, "Hey, man, don't get offended. We don't need to say anything. We can settle this next week at the New York Pro." And he ended up getting 6th, and I ended up getting 4th. So I placed ahead of him.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, he's a very talented guy. I think he's a young, upcoming, popular athlete. And I think he's got a wonderful physique.
No, but when you look at
nothing but the best in this prep, I want him to be his very best.
Absolutely, but when you look at the lineup, you got Justin Rodriguez doing it, who is probably
he's like my arch nemesis.
He's probably the favorite going into the show from what he did in the past 2 shows where he competed at the Arnold and at the Boston, and then you got when you look at these guys. When you compare yourself to it, what do you tell yourself? You say, okay, I got him. If I can nail the condition, I can beat him. What is it? What is it that you see that you can beat him on?
Well, my physique strengths is I'm very balanced. I don't think I have weak spots. That being said, I see weak spots on every single competitor that's going to be coming into this lineup. I think if I come in with that balance, with my muscularity, my shape, and I think here's the kicker. If my conditioning is there and my gut's in, I can win this show. So, outside of that, I feel it's my show to lose, and I'm the only one who can lose it for me. I feel like it's in my hands.
Did you see the lineup?
Yeah, well, I know most of the lineup. I don't know the full lineup.
Tell me what you know, because I don't know.
We have Justin Rodriguez. He's a front runner. We've got Charles Griffin. He's a front runner.
Oh, Charles Griffin is doing it too. Right.
Yeah. Very good bodybuilder, and I've yet to beat him on stage. I think I can very, very well do so. Same thing. Great physique. I wish him nothing but the best. I want him to come in his best because that's how I want to take him out. We got the Blessing. We've got my man, Ronald Gordon. We got this huge guy coming in from Europe, Peter Kleihar. I think I said his last name right.
No, Peter Clancyr.
There we go.
Because yeah, Peter Clancyr. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a huge guy. A lot of respect to him. I think he's probably going to end up in that top 5. I think I just called out the top 5, including myself. Then we got some rookie pro debuts. We've got Jonathan Withers coming in, national champ from 2 years ago. He trains at Ombres Pro Gym.
Oh, really?
Yep. Brent Swanson is going to be his pro debut. And there's a handful of other people. If I'm forgetting somebody, I apologize, but that's the lineup as I know it.
So give me your top 5 in particular order.
Dorian Haywood, Justin Rodriguez, Charles Griffin, The Blessing, and Peter
Clancyr. So you got Charles Griffin beating Blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
And Justin and
Justin.
You got Justin in second.
Yeah, I think so.
I think when I look at Charles right now, the pictures he posts a lot of updates.
Yep.
I think he really improved his quads, and he really improved because I don't want to say it's a weakness because it's not, but he has that. It's a shorter torso somehow. Mm-hmm. But now he somehow managed to do a vacuum.
Yeah, he's got his gut in. He's looking really good. More set than ever.
It looks really, really dangerous. And I remember last year he had a lot of updates too, and he looked great in the updates. And then when he stepped on stage, it just wasn't the same. Mm-hmm. But I think this year they somehow managed to put it together. And he's been looking great. I mean, he's been looking like he's ready to go for weeks now.
Yeah, he seems like he's ahead of schedule for sure.
Yeah, so I think that it will be a battle. It will be a real battle, and I'm looking forward to watching you guys step on stage because it's always the most important thing is when everybody steps the first lineup, when everybody steps out, when you see them for the first time. That's when the judges make their decisions. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm kind of stoked. I'm looking forward to it. Especially the way how you do because you sound really confident. You predict you're going to win the Indy Pro, which is probably something that all these guys do. They all predict they're going to win because that's what you train for. Otherwise, why would you train at all?
Mm-hmm, right.
But when I ask people, about predictions, I always ask, where do you see you beat these guys? When it comes to, let's say, Charles Griffin. You beat Charles Griffin. Where do you beat Charles? He's got a fucking crazy back. He's got crazy arms. He's got crazy body parts. Where do you beat him?
Well, those are exactly his strengths. I think his arms are some of the best arms in modern bodybuilding. But you got to kind of look at his physique and wonder, why is his arms so strong? To me, I look at his arms, they're huge because his shoulders aren't impressive. To me, his back is huge because his legs are small. If you look at his calves, they're smaller than my forearm. So this is bodybuilding. I'm coming in with a complete package. I got big legs, I got big calves, I got big everything, and everything's proportional. I think Charles' lack of proportions actually works out in his favor because it makes his arms look so impressive. And his back and his V-taper look so impressive. But structurally, I'm bigger than Charles, and I'm more balanced. And once again, if I can match or beat Charles' conditioning, I think I can take him out.
Yeah. Condition is the most important thing. Yeah, we know that. Condition is important. Brother, listen, hey, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dennis.
I know you work hard because I've seen it with my own eyes. You give it everything you got, and that's a plus, you know. So, and I know you're going to see Steve. He's going to give you some more feedback that you can work with for the next 3 weeks. And I literally want to see you do well, and I hope whatever you think and whatever you wish and hope for is happening for you, and hopefully you'll make it to the Olympia, and then maybe, only maybe then you'll stop talking about you being 39 years old, because age don't mean nothing in this sport, bro. Look.
I remember watching an interview with Ronnie Coleman. He was 5-time Mr. Olympia at the time, I think. They say, Ronnie, you're dominating the field. Why are you so much better than everybody else? Well, I've been doing this longer than everybody else. So, yeah, I agree with you. Age has no factor, but at the same time, I started doing this when I was 15, 16 years old. I've been doing this 25 years now. I've been competing for 22 years. So I've got experience, and I've got that muscle maturity and all the bells and whistles. And I think I'm going to bring it to the Indy, and I can't wait to show you and everybody else what I'm capable of.
All right. Well, listen, we're looking forward to it.
Dennis, thank you so much for having me.
No, I thank you because I know you're busy. I know you gotta get your meals in. You gotta get your workouts in. Stay safe. Don't hurt yourself. You know. Good luck this weekend with Steve, and we'll talk soon, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Right back at you. Take care, Dennis.
All right.
Catch you later.
You too. Bye bye.
Later.